Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to rank Fallout Season 2 characters. And I was going to get to this earlier, but I had to do Safi's birthday extravaganza, and it was definitely a packed day. To be honest, I think it was actually the best birthday celebration since maybe 2024. I feel like it was just really, really fun and, small scale, and it really wasn't that difficult. And yeah, if you want to see what I made a cake, which was tough. There was actually supposed to be a third layer, but it fell apart and I had to throw it. Oh, I didn't throw it away. I put it in a separate container with icing on it, like all the leftover icing, and it's like a crumble cake or something. So there's technically like two cakes, and Safi made banana pudding for the Super Bowl. So we have like 5,000 desserts. And then I made wings. So it was a lot of fun, and I got a ton of stuff that I need. I got markers, I got movie props. We went to the thrift store. Safi got a bunch of crap. We both got a bunch of crap. So anyways, now we're to talk about Fallout Season 2, which is not good. It is legitimately crap. So this season, it's really funny because I was supposed to do like a Season 2 review. My Season 2 review is that the season kind of made me feel sick. I've had a problem with stress. I've had a problem with trying to do too many things at once. Splitting my focus, like last year. Oh God, and when you do that type of thing, it's like you're on a merry-go-round and you're going really, really fast, and it's just really unpleasant. It kind of gives you a stomach ache, and that's exactly what Season 2 did for me. It felt like a merry-go-round that was on turbo. And I hated that experience. I was so not enthusiastic about any of the episodes except for like the first two. Because at that point I thought, okay, maybe this season will be better since they're going to New Vegas. And that was ultimately the biggest letdown of the season, was the fact that, like, okay, if you're going to deconstruct New Vegas, if you're going to pick it apart, if you're going to ruin everything about it, like if you're going to ruin the Legion, you're going to ruin the NCR, which the NCR sucks. You're going to ruin Mr. House. You're going to ruin all these things that the fans loved. Then what are you going to put on top of it? What are you going to put on top of that destruction? Because this is what they do. These modern filmmakers, which I'm a modern filmmaker, but I don't subscribe to those people. But what do? They take something that people like and they destroy it. And then they put stuff on top of it and they say, look, this is what it's going to be now. You have to like it, and if you don't, you're just not a Fallout fan. You're a hater. That's what they did with Star Wars. They killed off Han Solo. They destroyed and killed off Luke Skywalker. And they said, if you don't like this, you're not a Star Wars fan. You're a hater. You're a misogynist. You're a racist. All that bullshit. They destroyed Star Wars, and they are now destroying Fallout New Vegas. With this season, it just felt like, okay, like I could see like a nihilistic like point of view for some of the aspects of the game. Like maybe if almost all of the kings turned into ghouls, I could see that being something that happened But for every single element, it really felt like they went out of their way to just destroy every single element of New Vegas. Like, it really felt like they looked at that game and said, oh, here's what the fans wanted. Let's destroy that, let's ruin that, let's ruin that, and let's ruin that. And then we'll do these little twists. Like, what did they even put on top of it? Like, okay, there's going to be a stupid Brotherhood Civil War. Who cares about the Brotherhood of Steel? I'm so sick and tired of the Brotherhood of Steel. All that bullshit. And I know that that's funny to say as a Fallout fan, but, like, I swear to God, I could not care less about the Brotherhood. I was almost going to say the Butterhood. The Brotherhood of Steel. And then, like, oh, the Enclave, they're coming. And it's like, oh, who cares? I don't care about the Enclave. I care about New Vegas. I care about these characters. I care about Lucy and the Ghoul, kind of. But I don't care about the fucking Enclave. Like, that's all that's all season 2 was focused on, was the Enclave and Brotherhood of Steel. And then they had that stupid storyline about the microchips, which didn't make any sense at all. And they're trying to say that Mr. House wanted people to have microchips in them. That's insanely retarded. That doesn't make any sense at all. Mr. House from the video game would never have done that. And if he did, there would have been some kind of mention. And in fact, I pointed out in my finale review, the Ghoul gets this specific Pip-Boy that has Mr. House on it. If that Pip-Boy was there, Mr. House would have given it to the courier. And then that's another thing. There's no mention of the courier at all. It's like he never even existed or made any impact at all. Or I guess he just kind of came and then he left. And it's like, really? Because you know what I think too? This is what I think is hilarious. I think that when it comes to the stupid lone... What's his name? The sole survivor from Fallout 4... that fuckface Nate, I think that they're going to have Nate on the show. I think that they're going to honor him. But since this was New Vegas, they didn't want to honor the courier. They didn't want to honor the fans. And I thought that that was super shitty. I just felt like the whole season was like a giant fuck you to the fans. It was a giant fuck you to New Vegas. I did very much appreciate that Ella Purnell played the video game. She is the only one from the main cast who has played the game. So she probably looked at these scripts and she was like, oh, wow, what are they doing with these characters? And that is like my terrible impression of Ella's British accent. I am Ella Purnell and I am British. See, I really cannot do accents, which is why I don't even want to bother. It's stupid for me to do that. But like, at least she played New Vegas. I don't even think the writers played New Vegas. I think that if they did, they would have some kind of an appreciation at least for like the story and the characters. Like, I genuinely, I feel so glad that I wasn't like that excited, because if I was, I would have been so incredibly disappointed. But I'm not disappointed anymore because everything sucks now in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry. They make crap, they make slop. And it just sucks though that we couldn't have gotten New Vegas. I don't know when the next time is going to be that us fans are going to get a good Fallout product. Whether it be a good Fallout game, which hasn't happened since New Vegas. I mean, Fallout 4, I very much enjoy that game. I've gotten all of the different endings. It's a very, very fun game, but it is not a good Fallout game at all. And it was so anti-Fallout, it's not even funny. And I don't know when we'll ever see these characters on the television screen. I just can't believe, like, when I saw the posters for this season, I was so excited. Like, I thought, okay, they're showing the kings as ghouls, but surely they're not just going to be, like, feral ghouls that just get killed off in, like, a 10-minute scene, and we don't get even any interaction between, the king and, the main king and the ghoul or anything. Like, that's horrible. So, yeah, the season 2 was horrible. Way worse than season 1. They had too many characters, too many stories, and everything was trash. Honestly, I would never watch season 2 of Fallout again. I feel like I want to play Fallout New Vegas just to wash my system, like to just forget, to just brainwash myself to forget that terrible, terrible season, which is really sad. If the writers, God forbid they watch our videos or they watch any YouTube videos, because, they probably feel, I don't know what they would feel, because I just don't know how you could write these scripts and make these episodes and not think that you're doing something wrong. Like, if I wrote these episodes, if I directed these episodes, I don't even know how I could do that. Like, to say that Mr. House would I mean, they opened the season with Mr. House putting a microchip on a random guy and making him kill people and then blowing. It's just, I mean, what the hell were they thinking? So, yeah. So that's my review of Fallout Season 2. But my advice to the writers would be, it's actually pretty tough, because my advice would genuinely be to have them wake up in Season 2 as a dream. When I said that in the review of the finale, I was not joking. And I'm someone who, I try to come up with solutions for problems. Like, I try to think about, like, okay, what are all the different options? But in this case, I genuinely think that the best option would be Season 2 was all a dream, and, let's just forget about that, and let's go backwards, because this was not it. And then my advice would be to drastically reduce the amount of stories and characters per episode. Ask for more episodes. Let's get like 16 to 24 episodes, and then you can have episodes that are just devoted to one story, maybe 2 stories at once, but no more than 2 or 3, because it's way too much. And yeah. So in terms of characters, this ranking's not going to be very fun, because these characters are pretty terrible in Season 2. So I have to review Nukatastic, which is the S tier, Had Good Moments, which is the A tier, Had Potential, which is the B tier, Dumb and Dull, which is the CD tier, and then Radioactive Trash. So for starters, Radioactive Trash would start off with the Incest Cousin. This is a character who, it was so weird, because in the trailers, they were showing him a lot. Like, they were showing, like, the dessert party, and they were showing him licking a giant lollipop, and it's like, okay, what significance does this character have in this story? Well, there is literally no story at all for this character. He's just a stupid, dumb side character who's there for humor and incest jokes. He's a terrible character. And yeah. Next up is Caesar, the new Caesar, Kevin from Home Alone. You know, I like Macaulay Culkin, but he did not fit this role at all. Or if he did, I just think he didn't have any screen time, and he came off like he was in an SNL skit. And I feel like that's largely due to the way that they treated... I mean, again, people say that like this show has MCU-style writing, and I wholeheartedly agree. The way that they treated the Legion was like the MCU version of the Legion. And if this was like a serious show and it had 24 episodes, you would get an incredible character out of this new Caesar, and making him like the main villain of season 3, or I don't even know if you could say main villain, because like, yeah, he's the main villain, but like there's like 5,000 other stories going on, and they all have their main villains too. So the Legion versus NCR story is only one story in this crappy Fallout TV show. So yeah, this character, too much of a joke, and he needed to be more serious. The story needed to be treated more seriously, which is sad because at first I kind of thought they were going to treat it very, very seriously. You know, like they have that first part where Lucy and that woman get caught, and it's just this really, really creepy, almost like Hills Have Eyes style encounter, and Lucy says her line, and you know that she's gonna get fucked up. But like that was what it should have been like, was like creepy, just totally like just dark, disturbing. I mean, it has a certain feel to it, which is very well done in the old game that was made. Like, when was that game even made? New Vegas game. Because, like, why is it that they're doing better things back in the year of, where is it, 2010, 2009, 2010? How is it that they're better at writing, better at storytelling in the year 2010? Shouldn't it be, like, better now? You know, people always like to say, like, it's 2026. Well, so far, it kind of seems like that's just an excuse for things to be bad. And you'd think it would be the opposite. So next here is Dumb and Dull. First you have Steph. Her character, there's something weird about her character. Like, she's really attractive for sure, but I just couldn't care less about her character. Every time she comes on screen, I feel like it's a nice moment to look at my phone and, to play a game on my phone. She's really not an interesting character at all. And then next up is Betty. Both of those two vault overseers, totally dull and just not great characters. And I just don't care at all. They should just cut out the vault storylines entirely. Honestly, I would not be upset if both vaults died. Like if everyone in both vault like killed each other, I would not care. I would be so thankful, because then I would be like, okay, that's like two less storylines. You know, we can focus on other things, and we don't have to watch just like constant like SNL skits about like incest clubs and, you know, dessert clubs and, you know, just the whole thing about the water. It's like, who cares? Next up is Maximus. Wow. You know, this character, I thought I liked him in season one, but the more I reflect on it, I really, really despise this character. He's such a dummy. I mean, I remember comparing him to Finn in Star Wars, but like Finn was such a better character. He was a lot smarter, and it was really shitty what they did to him. They made him like a janitor or some shit. Like, they just totally ruined his character in The Last Jedi. But, you know, Maximus, he is just a buffoon. He's just a walking, talking buffoon. And I don't like him at all. He's like an NPC. I mean, he is more of an NPC than the person in, you know, in Skyrim who says, I used to be a warrior, but then I took an arrow to the knee. You know, like, Maximus is such an NPC that when he reunites with his quote-unquote love interest, which totally trash romance, when he reunites with Lucy, he doesn't even kiss her. He's so gay that all he does is hug her. And then later on, he holds her hands like they're in fucking preschool or some shit, and they're playing Ring Around the Rosie. Remember Ring Around the Rosie? Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Is that how that goes? That's like what Maximus did in the finale. He's like, oh, well, I haven't seen this girl in months and months and months. I've been in these life or death situations. I just fought like 6 death claws at once. And, yeah, I don't feel like kissing the woman that I love. I'll hold her hand. I'll give her a hug. You know, which, God forbid, they might open up season 3 with, like, a gross sex scene between them or something. You know, which I say gross because they're just terrible as a romantic couple. I mean, they have no chemistry at all. And it feels so incredibly forced that they're together. And it honestly, like, it's one of the worst parts about the show. You know, she would be so good for Cooper, for the Ghoul. Lucy and the Ghoul is like a top tier romantic couple. If this show was made in like the 2000s or it was made in the 90s, they would have had Maximus get with like the tomboy and the Brotherhood of Steel, and then the Ghoul would have gotten with Lucy, and everything would have been okay. Or no, who am I kidding? They would have had like a will they, won't they thing for the whole series. They would have had like, will they get together or won't they? And also the reason why I put Maximus down here is because he started a Brotherhood Civil War. And then he's going to give the cold fusion to Lucy because she's a nice person. Because she's a good person. Like, that's such a... I mean, again, Maximus... Maximus is a dumb jock. Dumb. And then finally, for Dumb and Dull... top tier, we have Lucy Goosey, who she says, my name is Lucy and I'm a nice person. She says that to the Legion. It would have been so perfect if she just got her head chopped off right then and there. They're like, what do we do with this now? I don't know, I'll go use it for some head. Kick it around and shit. That's what the Legion would do. Like seriously, like they would cut off her head, and then they would all take turns with it before they kicked it around like a soccer ball. Why is our soccer ball leaking fluids? But anyways, Lucy, she is horrible this season. She took such a downturn. Like, her character is very inconsistent. I just feel like her character is an MCU character. Her character went from being really naive and like good intentioned into just being like a giant child. She almost acts like a Disney adult, kind of like Elle Fanning in Predator Badlands. And that's something that you see a lot nowadays in these movies and TV shows, is that the characters who are younger, who are supposed to target Gen Z, they all act really young and retarded. Like they're just like giant children or Disney adults. They don't act like normal people. They don't act like mature adults. And Lucy's character's complete trash. Like, remember that stupid part where, like, she left the Ghoul to die because, like, well, not to die, but, like, she just left him there because he made, like, a mean comment. Because, like, he was telling her to save him and not this random girl that she never met before. Like, you know, because it just, oh, that scene alone was reason enough to put her in this tier. But then she gets back with her father, and she's legitimately thinking that maybe we should put microchips in people's necks to control them. I mean, it just, oh. You know what, though? I suppose, like, it would be more understandable. Like, let's say you're playing the game. Let's say that this is a game. This is a New Vegas Part 2. Which, if it was, it would have, like, a 0 out of 10 on IGN. They would just simply say, 0 out of 10, Call of Duty is better. That's what IGN does. Like, all IGN likes is Call of Duty. Which that's been like forever that they've been like that. But I guess you'd have to kind of pretend that you're into the microchips thing. Like if you're a player and this is your dad in the game, you could kind of play along, kind of like the Institute, you know, with the dad and his son Sean. But at the same time, like, she was legitimately considering his proposal, which is just really, really dumb. I mean, it's... Honestly, though, it's kind of believable for her character in Season 2, and that's what really sucks. Is that, like, yeah, you could imagine people like her nowadays, like in modern-day America, you could imagine them saying that, like, we should put microchips in people's necks so that they should vote for who we want them to vote for. You know what I mean? So yeah, but her character sucks, and she's with Maximus, which is gross. You know, they're terrible together. And now for Have Potential. First off, you have Mr. House. They got Justin Theroux, and he is fantastic as Mr. House, but his character is so wasted, and it's really sad because one of the only good things about Season 2 is the build-up to Mr. House. Like, they really built up to his character coming on screen in that really cool part where the Ghoul, like, goes into the Lucky 38 penthouse and just like everything is all like destroyed, and it's just like, what happened here? And you have the lighting, that sunlight coming in, and then he puts the cold fusion in, and boom, Mr. House comes on, and you just feel like this is the start of something epic. This is the start of Mr. House, the almighty Mr. House. Whether you like him or not, he's coming. He's here. And he's coming to get the Legion, the NCR. He's coming to get anyone and everyone. And honestly too, I think in season 3, he should mention the courier, because like, if the courier left the place like that, then he would be upset about that, and he would at least mention it, like, oh yes, and I would like to talk about the courier. God, my accents suck. See, guys, this is why I do not do accents. But anyways, great actor, but he was wasted in this season. Next up is Norm. Do I even need to talk about this one, guys? Like, his story, if you took out Norm's story from this season, it would probably be like 15 minutes long. I wouldn't even consider it a story. And I like the actor. In season 1, I thought he was a great character. But like, in this season, he was complete trash. Basically, every single scene he's in, he just makes the same face over and over and over again. Like, he just has that one face, like this glare. He's like glaring like something is going on, and I am going to uncover it. And he just has that face, just like constantly. Like, it's like, why don't you have some kind of human emotion? Why do you act like a synth? He acts like a synth from Fallout 4. So yeah. Next up is the Had Good Moments tier. Really quick, Hank, Kyle MacLachlan. This character is supposedly a villain, but he is actually a lot more likable than most of all the characters in this show. And it's not because of the character. The character is evil, and he's pretty gross. I mean, he's pretty scummy, slimy, blah, blah, blah. But Kyle MacLachlan is an actor. He really uplifts this character, and you just can't help but like him and want to see more of him, even though he's evil. And I really loved his acting in the finale. I loved the moment where he brainwashed himself, because it felt like something really, really, that really could have been, like, how would I describe it? That moment when he brainwashed himself, supposedly, that could have been an A+ moment in a better written show. Because I love when you have like evil characters who don't want to be evil. They're evil because they just are, and they're forced to be in that position. Like, there is a show called The Old Man, which it was a pretty disastrous show. But in season 1, one of the main characters, he really isn't a villain, but he's forced to be a villain. And, that dynamic of like, you're a good person, or at least you think you're a good person, but then you have to do evil things. It's a really, really, it's a really interesting thing. Next up is Thaddeus. Thaddeus is another one where you just can't help but like the character, like the actor. I think that the actor is very, very likable. He seems like a great, great person. which, I mean, you really can't judge that type of thing for movies and TV, but he just seems like such a positive guy. And the character, I just love how he's like a positive guy as well. I loved like the part where he's running the bottle cap company with the kids and all that. Like, I thought that was great. I loved all the humor with him, like, and how he loses his arm and then he uses his foot to shoot. I thought that was great. But again, like, we hardly got any of him. We didn't get to see him hardly at all. And the one thing that I'll say that wasn't good was when he pretended to be Xander. Because they just kind of used him for comedic relief. And it felt like just kind of bizarre that nobody, thought that he was doing something. Like, I think one person did, but like, it was so obvious what he was doing. Excuse me. The last person in this tier is Chet. Honestly, I wish I had put this character in Dumb and Dull. I really wish I did. Because, again, I just couldn't care less about the Vault storyline. I guess you could say that, like, I like the scene, the wedding scene, where he's just had enough and he stands up to, Steph, his fiance, who, she turned into a huge bitch when she became the overseer, which, by the way, guys, this is what happens when you have a female boss. They turn into biatches. And, my mom has said this, a lot of people have said this, that, they would much prefer to have a male boss than a female boss, because female bosses can be really, really mean. And that's what happened with Steph. She was up to no good. She was killing people. I mean, it's not just the fact that she's a female boss. She's killing people. It's not just the fact that she was mean, and that she's a female boss. She was conspiring to do something with the Enclave against the people in her vault. So she's fucking evil. And I loved when Chet stood up to her, and he exposed her. It felt like, okay, like, this is nice. Like, at least there's this one little moment that I can say, oh yeah, I'm not totally being negative on this channel. I said that one good thing about the shitty characters. So yeah. And then, finally, the only character in Nukatastic tier is the Ghoul / Cooper. And really, I am so sick and tired of the flashbacks with Cooper just constantly. Like, what is the deal? What is the point of just seeing all these flashbacks just constantly? The only one that was good was when he gave the cold fusion to the president, because then it made you understand a lot more about his character in the present, and about how, some people have said he needs to right that wrong. And I thought that's a really, really cool idea, that, like, you helped inadvertently start the nuclear apocalypse before the apocalypse, and then, like, 100 years later, in the apocalypse, you have to prevent something else from happening, like something else like that from happening again. And this is where it really bothers me, because he also, it seemed like they were hinting at a romance between him and Lucy, and they never follow through with that, which really, really pissed me off. And then they gave him the cold fusion, and he gave it to Mr. House. which was I think one of my favorite moments of the entire show so far, because it was like, okay, you're taking the best character from New Vegas and the best character from the show, and now they're going to work together. That's really, really cool. That's really awesome. And just as a fan, just for fan service, but like, even just taking out the fact that it's cool, it's like, yes, this is what I want to see. And but then he just leaves. He just leaves Mr. House, even though he said that he would help him. I thought that was terrible. You know, they played it off like a joke. Of course, they had to make a joke like it's the MCU. But I would still say, like, look, the acting from Walton Goggins is just top tier. And even with these terrible scripts, you know, these actors, they can uplift terrible writing. And that's what I always get upset with when I see these bad movies. And even, to be quite honest, when I make certain movies and film with certain people, and to be fair, the people I'm talking about right now, I fired them all. There was not a single person who I kept on who I would say this about. But it always bothered me, like, how, you know, like, you have these actors and they act like the writing has to match them and not the other way around. And the reality is, like, you could have the worst script in the world. Like, I had this one actor, and he thought he was being really cute. I accidentally left the camera on because I had to clean blood off my hands, you know, fake blood, because I was filming a scene. I left the camera on, and he was talking shit on camera about how this movie's the stupidest shit ever. This is the dumbest writing ever, which it wasn't, you know, objectively. It's not the dumbest writing ever. But it's like, you could have, let's say that writing is the worst thing ever. That doesn't mean that your performance has to be the worst performance ever. If you're a serious actor, if you're an actor who actually takes your craft seriously, then you can take a bad script and you can make it really, really good. And you can give a really good performance. But there's a lot of bad movies nowadays where you have these actors, they give a terrible performance, and then they try to blame, like, the writing, and they try to say, well, the script sucked and the characters sucked. That has nothing to do with you. The only thing that would is, like, if the director isn't doing his job and if he's not, you know, pointing you in the right direction with your performance. But even then, when you come on to a movie as an actor or a show like Fallout, you can take a bad script and still make it good. And that's exactly what Walton Goggins and Kyle MacLachlan did in season 2 of Fallout. Was they both did as good as they could do. And also Justin Theroux, who he was perfect to play Mr. House, although it feels like the writers don't understand Mr. House at all. So anyways, please like this video and comment and tell me how you would rank the characters. And then also, if you would not mind doing so, please head on over to our Patreon and check that out. Join up now. We have tons of movie reviews, spoiler reviews, TV reviews are coming soon. Commentaries are coming soon. Rankings we have on there, like Wednesday season 2 characters ranked. And also my short film and a ton of other stuff. You are missing out if you do not go over there and at least check it out. And then lastly, please subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video and if you'd like to see more. I promise that regardless of if you agree with my opinions or not, I will give you guys the honest takes. I will not be a shill. I will not say Fallout is good because I want Ella Purnell to like me. No, I don't care. I really don't give a fuck. Because and that's another thing too, like if you have to like something that someone was in for them to like you, that's really not a good thing. Like, I should be able to be as honest as humanly possible, and people who are in these movies and shows, they should take it, what did they say? Like, take it to the chin, take it on the chin, you know, and just try to do better. And if anything, just realize that, you know, not everyone is always going to have the reaction that you expected them to have. And, you know, that's just, it is what it is. Like, you know, I'll support, you know, these actors if they're in movies or different things. Most of them, you know, but there are certain actors I won't support, obviously, like Kevin Spacey. You know, I'm not supporting Kevin Spacey, but like the actors in the Fallout show, like, they're not doomed because of this show. So yeah, goodbye everybody. See you soon. Get ready for Fear Factor. Bye.